Hey guys, Rez here, and today we're doing a video on the HTC Vive, one of the three major headsets, virtual reality headsets that are out at the moment, the others being the Oculus Rift and the PlayStation VR, which I believe is the most recently released one. So a few of you will be watching this know I've had this for a couple of months now. I think I got it in early October, I want to say. I can't remember the exact date. So kind of the excitement and the hype of the first few weeks of having it have died off, and I've chilled a little bit. But in even saying that, I'm going to try not to overhype the Vive too much because it is an amazing piece of technology. In terms of VR, I started with this, the humble Google Cardboard. I think I paid $10 on eBay for this thing. These ones work by everyone's seen them around. You get your phone and jam it in the front, fold it up, shove it on your face. And there's some like funny little games and stuff you can get on the App Store and some 360-degree videos and whatnot. But this is a completely different beast. When I ordered this, I was seriously hoping it wasn't going to be a gimmick. Like, I don't know. I mean, the Google Cardboard, it was pretty cool. This thing is just on another level, and I am blown away by it, and so is everyone else who has tried it, actually. So, this video, what are we going to do? We'll probably just talk about the Vive itself, the actual hardware, for a little bit, and have a look at it, and then maybe have a look at some of the software that comes with it, SteamVR, and that kind of stuff. So, let's get started. So here we have the front of the Vive, with a lovely blue Hyperkin gel cover on there. We'll get into why that's on there a little later on. It's not too heavy. It's a bit front heavy, but considering that's where all the magic happens, that's not surprising at all. There's a bunch of cables coming out of the top. Not sure in particular which order they are, but it's your HDMI, audio, and power, which comes from the Breakout Box, which we'll have a look at in a little bit. This version that I have has a single cable which runs to the Breakout Box. The older ones have a triple cable, just like this pretty much, that runs all the way to the Breakout Box. From my understanding though, this one can get caught up quite a bit more. It can wrap itself up easier on the floor than the old one, but I've never used any other Vive except this one, so I can't really compare. In terms of adjustments, you have the head strap on the top here. We've got side straps. We have, you can pop out the, I don't know what you'd call these. The ring where the head strap attaches to. You can, oh, that's actually already popped out. You can move the headset actually forward and back. You can kind of see there's a little indicator just here. Primary use, I would say, would be for if you're wearing glasses, so you can get the actual lenses further away so you don't scratch them, which you do not want to do on something that you've just paid a lot of money for. Lenses themselves are Fresnel lenses. If you don't know what a Fresnel is, it's, or easiest way to describe it, if you can see on there's circles all through the lens. Hey, and I just noticed right there, while filming this, there is an infrared LED, which must be the sensor for if you have it up on your face or not, because it will automatically turn the displays off to save them and to save power, I'm guessing, while you're not using it. What else we got on here? There's an IPD adjuster on the side, this little knob here. What this does, let's see if we can see this, it adjusts the distance between the lenses to your pupil distance. So this will stop you from going cross-eyed or getting headaches, things like that. You can kind of see that moving in and out just there. Luckily, I only got these glasses about a month before I picked the Vive up, so I managed to just call up my optician and say, what's my IPD? And got the perfect one, and it works pretty well. In terms of anything else, we've got a camera on the front just here. We'll have a look at that when we get into SteamVR. And under this gel cover, right about there, is a tiny little dot. Where are we? Just there. And that is a microphone. So if you're playing a multiplayer game or something like that, you can have a chat, or doing what I'll probably do in a minute and jump in, you can record your voice and whatnot without having to use a desktop mic. Very useful. The Vive controller in all its glory. Two of them, obviously, two hands in the box come with the Vive. The entire crazy looking top section there is your sensors. I'm not sure which way it works. Whether this and the headset receive information from the lighthouses, which we'll have a look at in a second, or they receive output from these. I think it's these receive output from the lighthouses. Anyway, we'll get on to that after. The controller itself, number of different controls. You have a touchpad here, works just like a screen on your phone or a trackpad, which also functions as up, down, left, right, D-pad kind of buttons. There is a button up the top, hidden under the gel cover there. You can see the little dimple thing. That's usually used by apps and games themselves as their menu button from what I've seen so far. There is another button hidden under here. I don't know if we can see it. There's a tiny indentation there. That's a SteamVR button. So you press that and Steam pops up in VR. There is a trigger underneath for triggering things. Shooting and picking stuff up, interacting, that kind of stuff. And grip buttons as well on the side serve the same function. You can see the raised section there. So while I'm talking about this is the reason I have gel covers, because right up there I was playing Rec Room, and I was playing paintball in Rec Room, and I jumped to shoot a paintball gun over a shipping container, I think it was, or like a giant bale of hay. And jumped and nearly put my hand through the ceiling. And I did mark my lovely Vive controller quite a bit, so I decided I would order these gel covers before I played that again, or any other shooting games. So another component in the Vive setup are the lighthouses, and they basically sit in opposing corners of your room or your play space, usually a bit higher than, say, 6 feet. I've got mine mounted up in the corners of this room, actually. You can see the cables running up the wall there, my lovely cabling job. They just plug straight into the mains. There's not really too much interaction with the Vive or anything physically. It's all done by light, which is outputted, I think it's infrared light, outputted from the lighthouses that then the Vive receives through the sensors all over the front, like the eye looking things, all this stuff here. Same on the controllers. And I believe they are actually mounted inside the lighthouses on, there might be hard drive motors, so they're actually spinning inside, and you can hear a high-pitched whine coming out of the lighthouses if you put your ear pretty close to them. And I think it's the differences that the Vive picks up in the rotations, like where the light is coming from, and that provides really accurate tracking. Like, I can attest to that. You can pretty much play Twister in VR, holding onto these and rolling over on the floor, whatever, and they won't lose tracking. I can't actually remember losing tracking on these in the last few months. I have lost tracking on the headset a couple of times, but I think I found out one of those was like the application had stopped responding or something, so tracking doesn't really seem to be an issue. I had a mate who tried the PlayStation VR, and this is his opinion. I haven't tried the PlayStation VR, but he said because it was running off the camera, if someone walked in front of it, it would lose tracking pretty badly. I assume it would fix itself up as soon as they're out the way, though. But with these coming from two directions, I've never had an issue with people walking in front of them or anything like that. That's pretty much all there is to the lighthouses, really. There's a sync cable that comes with it. I think if you have a larger play distance, play area, and you have trouble, or you have trouble syncing the lighthouses together, you can run this cable between them, and it helps out with that. And lastly, we have the Breakout Box. So this is, as far as I know, used as like kind of a quick release for your Vive to your PC or whatever machine you're using the Vive with. Simple couple of connections in the back, power, USB 3, I think the smaller one's DisplayPort and HDMI. And the front is power, USB 3, and HDMI again. That's pretty much all there is to the Breakout Box. So that's the physical side of the Vive. So now we'll jump into SteamVR, which is basically your operating system for when you're inside virtual reality. It lets you launch applications and games and things like that. So let's have a look. Okay, so we're now in the Vive. I do need to adjust my IPD because I was mucking around with it a minute ago. Where are we? 65.6, what was it? 65.8, there we go. Okay, so once that disappears, you can see where the controllers on the ground. Perfectly mapped. I can just reach down, pick them up. Bob's your uncle, or in my case, Granddad. They are tracked unbelievably well. One of the things I've seen quite a few people do is that. Just to show how well they're tracked, it's just so hard to get across what it is like in 2D. You can do exactly what you do with anything in real life because the depth perception is unreal. You can see on the controllers themselves, you have a battery indicator, left and right hand. This is what they look like actually without the gel skins on them, just black and grey. Missing the hand cord though. So, Steam, press the button on the bottom, up pops Steam. Here's your basic SteamVR interface. You can point with the controller. Oh, there's another thing I was going to mention before. The camera, which is mounted on the front just here, is enabling you to see, you can see this room pretty much. It's useful for if someone's talking to you or you want to know what's around you. Another cool thing is you can, I think it's double tap the Steam button. Yeah, here we go. And now we have a Tron style view of your surroundings. If I get rid of the Steam button. And this is basically representing your room, your play space in pretty much real size. Like I could walk over here, grab the door handle. That threw me off for a second. Like there's the cable down there, pick that up. Everything's, I mean this isn't 3D, but you get a sense of the depth. Or is it 3D? It's hard to tell because of the color. And it's double tap to get rid of that. So back to Steam. You have your different stuff. You can go into the store. You can browse Steam, jump into your library and see all the different stuff you've got and play through it. And that you can launch one of these, say, I'm not even sure what I'll do the next video on. Maybe the blue. Blue's very cool. Very good one to show people first time if they're trying to Vive. And then you just have a launch there. When something's running, you get an extra close button down here, which will let you force quit most stuff if it stuffs up. You can go into your settings. This is pretty cool. So this is the basic setup I had just because I was demoing it to a few people the other day who were older and I didn't want to freak them out. So just a simple white room. But if you go into your settings, which is down here, and you can go across to customize, and then to, we have backgrounds. So these are basically 360-degree panorama images. For example, here's a Mirror's Edge one. And now we're standing in the Mirror's Edge city. And even though it's only a 360-degree panorama, this looks enormous. That crane is, I don't know, I want to say 100 feet, 200 feet away. That one maybe 300 feet. It's insane. But the really cool ones are, where are we? This one's one of my more favorite ones. This is like a Milky Way panorama. Very cool. Long way down. But one of the cool things you can do is, we go back into our settings and go to customize again. Besides the 360-degree panoramas, which we just had a look at, you can change your environment to 3D environments as well, which can also work in combination with the 360-degree panoramas you have. So For example, here's a Portal platform I downloaded. So now we're standing on a Portal platform inside the 360-degree panorama of a galaxy. And then there's full 3D environments. One of my favorites, the holodeck from Star Trek, which is awesome and very suitable for virtual reality. But this one is the entire environment is replaced. And this is completely 3D, obviously. You can like lean out and look down around the corridors and stuff like that. And there's a whole bunch on the Steam Workshop. There's another cool one. Is it Bespin, Cloud City, from Empire Strikes Back? This one's pretty cool. That's probably 30 or 40 feet high. And still weirds me out a little bit looking over the edge there. So it's that way Luke lost his hand. Yeah. And so this is basically you can just change this launch area to whatever you want. I mean, there's a couple other cool ones. Stargate Command. What else do we have? Simpsons Lounge Room. This one is pretty damn cool, actually. You can even see through the windows there's that Moe's. That's the Quickie Mart. And then schools through the lounge window. I don't know what that is over there. I think the church. Yeah, but very cool. Fully customizable launch area. Normally I have it set to the Portal platform with the Milky Way galaxy. And another cool thing I highly recommend is, if anyone hasn't downloaded it yet, that has a Vive, the Advanced Settings plugin. I will put a link to this in the description below. It lets you control a huge amount of cool stuff. For example, your chaperone settings and what do we got? Floor fixing and audio and how big you want your play space and your what's it called? Super sampling. Whether you want push to talk in your microphone. This one's pretty cool. HMD rotations. If I turn around and you get wrapped up in the cable, it's actually counting how many times I've turned. So if I turn back twice, 2 full rotations, it'll unwrap the cable if it's around your leg or whatever. There we go. That's kind of cool. What else do we have in here? You can. It's greened out at the moment. I'm not sure why, but you can view your desktop and adjust your desktop in here as well, and control your volume and whatnot. I think that'll do us for a quick intro to the SteamVR system, and we might do some another video on this later on. So there you have it, guys. I'll look at the HTC Vive, my kind of impressions, I guess, and a little bit of a look at SteamVR. If you liked the video, if you didn't like it, leave a comment below what kind of stuff you'd like to see in VR. If there's anything you'd like to see reviewed, if I can get a hold of it, I'll definitely give it a shot. And yeah, so also check out the Huge Disaster community that we're getting going, which is what the channel this is hosted on is. Jelly's got a few videos up there. There's a new podcast we all started. There's a whole bunch of new stuff coming. So yeah, chuck us some love if you like, and catch you soon. Peace.